Hey guys, Critical Hit Gaming here, and finally we have the Earth Frontier Gate. Finally, we're catching up with all the Frontier Gates we need to get. I hope Gumi keeps releasing these at the steady pace they seem to be doing right now. But Earth Frontier Gate is actually one of the ones I was looking forward to the most because we have some great Earth global exclusives like Avani, Zeruia, Andaria. They all fill the roles of like units you need for this, and that's just really good. So for the team I took, I decided to go like a pure damage route. Like I took like almost no stat up spheres, just like War Demon's Blade on top of a Spark Sphere, Illusion Gizmo on top of a Spark Sphere or War Demon's Blade. And after playing this, I have decided that's not the best option. I feel like taking stat up spheres with a damage sphere is much better. Because the attack bonus has been reduced from like regular Frontier Gate and Frontier Hunter. I was going for that because, you know, that's how you get a lot of points in those. But it doesn't really work in this Frontier Gate. So I recommend bringing stat up spheres and like War Demon's Blade as a secondary. There are the rewards below me in the text box. Phantom Device is an amazing sphere, I think. And just for clarification, Phantom Device is a secondary sphere, as in like it's a mitigation sphere, so it stacks with things like Bayorg's Armor, Occult Treasure, Buffer Jewel, stacks with all those. So you can get the 20% HP and defense as like a bonus, and of course the mitigation is amazing. And the Elgif's okay. I put on my Dolk after this because the Elgif's named something like Old Tree's Wisdom or something, and Dolk looks kind of like a tree, honestly. And it's a good sphere for mitigators. I think 2 BC a turn is, you know, it's there. And 15% BCHC really doesn't do much, which is why the Elgif's just okay. But yeah, and you know, you get 3 Arton to Burst Emperor, which is also nice. So yeah, I recommend taking a Dolk friend or a Dolk lead. Dolk needs to be a leader somewhere because Reneth, the last stage, she hits like a train. When I went into this, I wasn't expecting, like I just didn't expect how hard she was going to hit. I had heard and I had seen in a video once before, but I was like, our units are kind of strong now. I'm sure I won't take that much damage, and she hits like a freight train carrying explosives, and it's awful. So that's another reason I recommend stat up spheres, is to survive Reneth you gotta have health, because Dolk lead was not enough, and you'll see that when we get to Reneth. I guess some replacements though would be like, for Zeruia, you can replace Zeruia with Quaid actually if you don't have her. I know Zeruia is one of those units that, you know, you either have her or you don't, and there's no chance of getting her, so Quaid easily replaces her in this though, because you'll be missing light and dark, but that's only relevant I think on the Nemeth Gear stage, where you would just have to normal attack Nemeth Gear now more if you were using Quaid, but the BCHC is already supplemented by Dolk, so you don't need that. You don't need Zeruia for that, so all you need is the elements, and Quaid will fill that role just fine. For Dion, I don't know if there's any unit that gives BB modifier up besides him, but I think you can replace him with Vars, which is Gravion 7-star. I think, like, that's what a lot of people are doing, it seems. I haven't evolved my Vars, so I don't honestly know what he does. Pretty sure he has like crit damage up, and his SBB modifier is like UBB tier. So apparently he'll work just fine. So if you want to use Vars instead of Dion, that is completely okay. And for Andaria, you can use Drevis. I personally don't have a Drevis, but I think they're like on an equal playing field. If you want to use Andaria, use Andaria. If you want to use Drevis, use Drevis. I just personally don't have a Drevis, so that's why Andaria is here. And Totetsu, I don't know if there's another attack buffer in Earth, but if there is, use that. Totetsu is a good unit though for this because he does give the attack buff. And attack buff is really important for my squad personally because I didn't bring a generic like standard defense buffer. My only defense buff is Dolk's 35% of attack to defense. So Totetsu pretty much was my defense buffer paired with Dolk because, you know, you boost attack and then your defense becomes huge. And it sufficed until the last stage where Reneth is like, please send help. So I took the item set for these last 3 stages. I feel like that's better because I wanted to do UBB twice, and this is the only way to UBB twice, is to have the item set. And UBB is really important to get the points. I recommend UBBing Avani if you're using her because her UBB is like one of the strongest Earth units UBBs, because 300% spark damage is quite good, and yes, that's a lot of damage. So yes, UVB on stage 4 and 5, because those seem like the most relevant to me. That's what I would do. And yeah, because you want to have enough points to feel safe when you get to Reneth, because she's awful. She's completely awful. So there I am, and I get like less points with my UVBs on stage 4 and 5 than I did with just SPB spam on 1 through 3. So I feel like I missed Avani's buff somewhere and didn't get her spark damage to stack with her UVB damage. That's really unfortunate. And here we are at the worst stage ever. So Reneth normally, she gives extra elemental weakness damage from like fire to earth. So you usually would take more damage here, but with a Dolk friend, the elemental weakness is negated. And so I figured I'd be fine, but as it turns out, she hits like a train on her own, so she just hits really hard. And as you'll see here, when sadness occurs, yeah, I was playing this in the middle of class, and that happened, and I was just like, oh no, like in the middle of class. It was awful. So I just kind of skate by and I revive a unit, hope no one dies right here, and then I finish her off and get all the rewards. Yeah, I got really lucky right here, but you know, first try, got all the rewards, pretty cool. So that's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give this video a like and subscribe. This was Critical Gaming by YouTube.